I didn't ruin my family. They made sure I had no other choice but to expose them, because what my sister did to me over our inheritance wasn't just betrayal, it was calculated destruction. I'm 32M, living in Texas. If you saw me on the street, you'd think I'm just another boring IT guy with a stable life, maybe a bit quiet. But what people don't see is how easily a family can turn into strangers who know exactly how to hurt you. My older sister, Lisa, 36F, was always the perfect one. Smart, confident, always the one my relatives praised. I used to admire her growing up. That admiration turned into something else after our parents died. Everything started with our aunt's house in Ohio. It wasn't just a property, it was the only real inheritance our family had left, and that's where everything broke. Lisa said, "Don't worry, we'll split everything fairly. We're family." I believed her. That was my first mistake.
The day the lawyer read my aunt's will, I already felt something was off. Lisa was sitting right next to me, calm, almost too calm. The lawyer cleared his throat and said, "According to the updated documents, the majority of the estate is assigned to Lisa." I blinked. Wait, what? My aunt had always been closer to me when she was alive. I used to help her with groceries, repairs, everything. Lisa barely visited. I turned to Lisa. She didn't even look surprised. She just said quietly, "I told you everything would be handled fairly." But the way she said it didn't feel fair at all. After the meeting, I asked her straight up, "Did you know about this?" She smiled, not warmly, more like rehearsed. "Maybe you just didn't understand the situation properly." That sentence hit me harder than anything, because that was her favorite tactic, make me feel confused, like I was the problem. After the will reading, things didn't just get awkward, they started getting isolated. Lisa didn't attack me directly, she was smarter than that. Instead, she started controlling the narrative. Within a week, I noticed something strange. My relatives stopped answering my calls. At first, I thought everyone was just busy. Then my cousin replied to a message I sent. "Hey, Lisa said you're going through a stressful phase and might be misunderstanding things. Just take it easy, okay?" I just stared at my phone. Misunderstanding? That's when I realized what Lisa was doing. She wasn't just taking the inheritance, she was rewriting reality around me. One evening, I confronted her again. "Why are you telling people I'm confused?" She didn't even look up from her coffee. "I'm just helping them understand you better." That sentence, that calm tone, it made my skin crawl, because she wasn't even pretending anymore.
Things escalated faster than I expected. 2 weeks later, I got a notice from a lawyer. Apparently, there were concerns about my mental stability raised by a family member. Guess who that family member was? Lisa. She was trying to legally position me as unfit to challenge the inheritance. That's when it stopped being just emotional manipulation. It became a strategy. My bank account was suddenly under review because of a joint claim Lisa filed related to our aunt's estate expenses. I couldn't access funds tied to it without approval. When I called her, I asked, "Are you seriously trying to control my finances now?" She sighed like I was being dramatic. "I'm just protecting what's fair. You should thank me." Thank her for slowly taking everything from me while smiling. That week, I stopped sleeping properly. Every phone call felt like another trap. Every message from family felt scripted. And the worst part? Some of them started believing her.
Everything changed the night I accidentally found the recording. I wasn't even looking for proof at first. I was just trying to find old documents in my aunt's storage box, something to understand what really happened with the will. That's when I found a small USB drive taped under a folder. Curious, I plugged it into my laptop. At first, it was just random audio files. Then I opened one labeled Family Discussion, Private. I hit play, and I froze. It was Lisa's voice, but she wasn't speaking like the calm, controlled version I knew. She was talking to someone, her friend, I think, and she said, "He's too emotional. It's easy to make him doubt himself. Once the paperwork is clean, he won't even try to fight it." Then a laugh. "Honestly, he'll probably thank me later." My hands went cold. This wasn't misunderstanding. This was intentional. I replayed it 3 times just to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. Every word confirmed what I had been feeling for weeks. She wasn't just taking advantage of me. She was planning it. That night, I didn't sleep at all. For the first time, I stopped asking, "Why is this happening?" and started asking something else. How far is she willing to go?
After I heard that recording, something inside me snapped. Not in an emotional way, but in a calm, calculating way I didn't know I had. I stopped arguing with Lisa. I stopped trying to convince anyone. Instead, I started collecting everything. Every text, every email, every call log, every conversation where she tried to frame me as unstable. And most importantly, I started backing everything up. Multiple copies, cloud storage, encrypted drives. If she was building a version of reality, I was building the receipts of it. I also reached out to a friend from college who now works in digital forensics. I didn't tell him everything at first. I just said, I need help understanding if something can be used in court. When I sent him the USB recording, he replied after 2 days. This is not just manipulation. This is premeditated narrative control. If this is real, you're sitting on a legal bomb. That's when I knew I wasn't crazy. I was just the only one seeing the full picture. So I stopped reacting emotionally and started acting strategically. I even acted weaker around Lisa, agreeing with her more, avoiding conflict, pretending I was giving up. She noticed. One day, she said, almost satisfied, "See, I knew you'd eventually understand what I was trying to do for you." I just nodded. Inside, I was counting every word. The day everything collapsed was not dramatic at first. It was just a family review meeting with the lawyer. Lisa insisted we all sit together again to finalize everything peacefully. I showed up calm, too calm. Lisa looked confident, like she had already won. Even said to me, in front of everyone, "You don't have to make this harder than it is." That was her mistake. The lawyers started speaking about final estate confirmations. Then I interrupted. "I think before anything gets finalized, we should listen to something." I placed my laptop on the table and hit play. The room went quiet. Lisa's voice filled the space again. "He's too emotional. It's easy to make him doubt himself." Then the second clip. "Once the paperwork is clean, he won't even try to fight it." I watched her face carefully. At first, confusion, then panic, then something I'll never forget, realization that she couldn't control the story anymore. One of my relatives whispered, "Lisa, what is this?" She immediately tried to recover. "That's edited. He's trying to—" But the lawyer raised his hand. Stop. He was listening differently now, not as a family dispute, but as evidence.
The room didn't explode with shouting. It got worse than that. Silent. That heavy kind of silence where everyone is realizing they've been sitting in a story that just changed meaning. Lisa looked at me like she finally understood something she didn't expect. Not anger, fear. The lawyer opened a sealed envelope. "I think," he said slowly, "there is something else you all were not aware of." He pulled out a document stamped and signed years ago by my aunt, and then he read it. "If any attempt of manipulation, coercion, or misrepresentation is proven against any beneficiary, the entire estate transfers to the other rightful heir." My stomach dropped. I looked at Lisa. For the first time, she didn't look confident. She looked trapped. Then came the real twist. The lawyer added quietly, "Your aunt anticipated conflict. She requested periodic audio monitoring of estate-related communications stored with her legal office." I froze. That USB wasn't luck. It wasn't something I found. It was placed where it was supposed to be found. My aunt had already known. Lisa finally broke. "No, this is not possible. He planned this. He set me up." But her voice wasn't strong anymore. It was collapsing. The lawyer slid another paper forward. Forgery allegations, false mental instability claims, unauthorized financial interference, all tied back to her. My cousin, who once ignored my calls, wouldn't even look at her now. Someone whispered, "She did all that for money?" Lisa turned toward me one last time, and for a split second, I almost felt something like pity. Almost. The estate didn't just change hands. It corrected itself, and I didn't win anything. I just stopped being erased.